Assalamualaikum, we are from Group 7. We're going to present Topic 5, Digestive System. Our group consists of 3 members, which is ILLIYANA, NATASHA, and me, SYAMILA.
The digestive system consists primarily of gastrointestinal tract, which also known as GI tract. It's divided into upper GI tract, lower GI tract, and these organs work in cooperation with the accessory organs. The upper GI tract consists of mouth, pharynx, esophagus, and stomach. So it transports food from the entry until digestion begins in the stomach. As for the lower GI tract, it consists of large intestine, small intestine, also rectum and anus. This is where the digestion complete and the waste material is ready for expulsion from the body. Major structure of oral cavity are lips, palate, salivary gland, and periodontium. Lips surround the opening to oral cavity and play an important role in breathing, speaking, and expression of emotion. Palates form the roof of mouth, consist of hard palates, soft palates, and uvula. Hard palates are covered with specialized mucous membrane. Soft palate has important role of closing of the nasal passage. It is to prevent the food or liquid moving upward into nasal cavity, while uvula play a role in snoring and in the formation of some speech sound. Tongue is very strong, flexible, and muscular. The upper surface of tongue, called dorsum, is covered with papillae which contain taste bud. Sublingual surface of the tongue are covered with delicate, highly vascular tissue. Lingual frenum is the band of tissue attached tongue to mouth floor. It limits the motion of tongue. Next, periodontium describes structure that surrounds, support, and attach to the teeth. Gingiva or gum is the specialized mucous membrane that cover bone and dental arches and surround neck of the teeth. Area of space between tooth and the surrounding gingiva is called sulcus. Dental arches hold teeth firmly in position, which has maxillary arch, upper jaw, mandibular arch, lower jaw, and temporomandibular joint, or TMJ. TMJ form at the back of mouth, where maxillary and mandibular arch come together. Dentition consists of 4 types. Incisors and canine are for biting and tearing. Meanwhile, premolars and molars are for chewing and grinding. Crown is the portion of tooth that visible in the mouth, and it is covered with enamel, the hardest substance in the body. Cervix is where the crown and root meet. The root hold tooth securely in place within the dental arches. There are 3 pairs of salivary gland, which is parotid gland, sublingual gland, and submandibular gland. It secretes saliva that is carried by duct into the mouth. Saliva is a colorless liquid that maintains moisture in the mouth, and it contains digestive enzyme amylase. Pharynx is common passageway for both respiration and digestion. It holds important role in deglutition or swallowing. Epiglottis is a lid structure that closes off the entrance to the trachea to prevent food and liquid from moving from pharynx during swallowing. As for esophagus, esophagus is the muscular tube for ingested food passed through from pharynx to the stomach. Lower esophageal sphincter, also known as cardiac sphincter, is a muscular ring between esophagus and stomach. It relaxes to allow food to enter stomach during swallowing. This sphincter opened and closed to prevent content from stomach regurgitating or flowing backward into the esophagus. So, what is the role of the mouth, salivary gland, and esophagus? First is mastification, or known as chewing. It breaks down food into smaller pieces and then mix with saliva and prepare it to be swallowed. Next is bolus. Bolus is a mass of food that has been chewed and ready to be swallowed. During swallowing, food travels from mouth into pharynx and into the esophagus. And then in the esophagus, the food moves downward through the action of gravity and peristalsis.
Next is the stomach. The stomach is a sac-like organ composed of the fundus, an upper rounded part, a body as a main portion, and antrum, a lower part of the stomach. Rugae are the folds in the mucosa lining the stomach. These folds allow the stomach to increase and decrease in size. Glands located within these folds produce gastric juice. Then, a gastric juice made up of enzyme and hydrochloric acid help in the beginning of food digestion. Mucus produced by glands in the stomach create a protective coating on the lining of the stomach. The stomach also contains the pyloric sphincter. It is the ring-like muscle at the base of the stomach that controls the flow of partially digested food from the stomach to the duodenum of the small intestine. Lastly, the pylorus is the narrow passage that connects the stomach with the small intestine. The small intestine extends from the pyloric sphincter to the first part of the large intestine. This coiled organ is up to 20 feet in length and consists of 3 sections where food is digested and the nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream. There are 3 parts of small intestines, which are duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. So, what is duodenum? Duodenum is the first portion of the small intestine. The duodenum extends from the pylorus of the stomach to the jejunum. Jejunum is the middle portion of the small intestine that extends from the duodenum to the ileum. And lastly, the ileum, which is the last and longest portion of the small intestine that extends from the jejunum to the cecum of the large intestine. Then we will move on to the large intestine. It extends from the end of the small intestine to the anus. It is about twice as wide as the small intestine. However, it is only 1/4 as long. It is here that the waste products of digestion are processed in preparation for excretion through the anus. The major parts of the large intestine are the cecum, colon, rectum, and anus. The large intestine performs an essential role by absorbing water, vitamins, and electrolytes from waste material. The next role that we will discuss is the role of stomach. The gastric juice of the stomach contain hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes to continue the breakdown of food. Few nutrients enter the bloodstream through the walls of the stomach. The churning action of the stomach works with the gastric juice by converting the food into chyme. Chyme is the semi-fluid mass of partly digested food that passes out of the stomach through the pyloric sphincter and into the small intestine. Next, the function of the small intestine. In small intestine, there will be a process of changes of food into usable nutrients and is completed as the chyme is moved through the small intestine by peristaltic action. As I mentioned before, there are 3 parts of the small intestine. In the duodenum, chyme is mixed with pancreatic juice and bile. The bile breaks apart large fat globules so that enzymes in the pancreatic juice can digest the fats. This action is called emulsification and must be completed before the nutrients can be absorbed into the body. Then, the jejunum secretes large amounts of digestive enzymes and continues the process of digestion. And the main function of the last part of small intestine, which is ileum, is to absorb nutrients from the digested food. Then, the role of the entire large intestine is to receive the waste products of digestion and store them until they are eliminated from the body. The food waste enters the large intestine where excess water is reabsorbed into the body through the walls of the large intestine, helping to maintain the body's fluids balance. After that, the remaining waste will form into feces. Feces, also known as solid body waste or stool, are expelled through the rectum and anus. Then, there is a defecation, which also known as a bowel movement. is the evacuation or emptying of the large intestine. The large intestine that contains gut microflora which help break down organic waste material, and this process produces gas. Gut microbiota refers to the billions of bacteria present in the large intestine to protect against infection and help maintain the immune system. Then there is also borborygmus, which is the rumbling noise caused by the movement of gas in the intestine. And lastly, flatulence. It is the passage of gas, also called as flatus, out of the body through rectum.
The cecum is a pouch that lies on the right side of the abdomen. It attends from the end of the ileum to the beginning of the colon. In the part of cecum, there is an ileocecal sphincter ring like a muscle that controls the flow from the ileum of the small intestine into the cecum of the large intestine. Beside there are vermiform appendix, or normally we call appendix. Hence, from the lower portion of the cecum, the term vermiform refers to a worm-like shape. Next, the colon, which is the longest portion of the large intestine, is subdivided into 4 parts. Firstly, the ascending colon travel outward from the cecums to the undersurface of the liver. Ascendings mean outward. Secondly, the transverse column passes horizontally across the abdominal cavity from the right to the left toward the spleen. Transverse mean across. Thirdly, the descending columns travel down the left side of the abdominal cavity to the sigmoid column. Descending means downward. Lastly, the sigmoid column is an S-shaped structure that continues from the descending column above and joins the rectum below. Sigmoid means the curve like the letter S. Now I'm going to explain about the rectum and the anus. The rectum is the widest division of the large intestine. It makes up the last 4 inches of the large intestine and ends at the anus. The anus is the lower opening of the digestive tract. The flow of waste through the anus is controlled by the internal anal sphincters and the external anal sphincters. The terms anorrectal refers to the anus and rectum as a single unit. The accessory organs of the digestive system are so named because they play a key role in digestive process. The accessory digestive organs are the livers, gallbladder, and pancreas. Liver is the largest organ in the body. It has several important functions related to removing toxins from the blood and turning food into the fuel and nutrients the body needs. The term hepatics means pertaining to the liver. The liver removes excess glucose, which is commonly known as a blood sugar, from the bloodstream and store it as a glycogen. Glycogen is a form of glucose that is stored in the liver and muscles. When the blood sugar level is low, the liver converts glycogen back into a glucose and releases it for use by the body. Next, bile, which aids in the digestion of fats, is a digestive juice secreted by the liver that is necessary for the digestion of fat. Bile travels from the liver to the gallbladder, where it is concentrated and stored, while bilirubin is a pigment formed in the liver by the breakdown of hemoglobin and excreted in the bile, giving it a yellow to a green color. Excessive amounts of bilirubin in the body can lead to a jaundice and other diseases. The biliary tree provides the channels through which bile is transported from the liver to the small intestine. Biliary means pertaining to bile. In the biliary tree, there are small ducts in the liver joined together like branches to form the biliary tree. The trunk, which is just outside the liver, is known as the common hepatic duct. The bile travels from the liver through the common hepatic ducts to the gallbladder, where it enters and exits through the narrow cystic duct. The cystic duct, leaving the gallbladder, rejoins the common hepatic ducts to form the common bile duct. The common bile duct joins the pancreatic ducts, and together they enter the duodenums of the small intestine. Now I'm going to explain about the gallbladder. The gallbladder is a pear-shaped organ about the size of an egg located under the liver. It stores and concentrated bile for later use. When bile is needed, the gallbladder contracts, forcing the bile out through the biliary tree. I'm going to explain about the pancreas. The pancreas is a soft 6-inch long oblong gland that is located behind the stomach. This gland has important roles in the both digestive and endocrine system. The pancreas produces and secretes pancreatic juice that aid in the digestion and contain digestive enzyme and sodium bicarbonate to help neutralize stomach acids. Pancreatic mean pertaining to the pancreas. The pancreatic juice leaves the pancreas through the pancreatic duct that joins the common bile duct just before the entrance into the duodenum.